This simple trading strategy has made me tens of thousands of dollars. This set of indicators will turn you into a profitable trader. This is the only set of indicators that you will need to be profitable. In this video, I'm not only going to show you how these indicators work, but I'm going to show you my simple setup and my strategy so that you can implement it right now so that you can be a profitable trader. The strategy I'm going to show you in this video is so simple that anybody can understand it. And by the end of this video, you need to watch this video all the way through because I'm going to give you my custom setup so that you can implement this yourself. Now let's get started with the setup. Let's go. I'm using the Pocket Option binary options trading site. I think it's absolutely incredible. I've been using it for a couple of years now, and it is a great way for you to start trading. It's got fast payouts, easy to get in and out. If you don't have an account already, please use the link in the description below to come over and join my team. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Well, here's the setup. What we're going to do is we're going to set up the indicators so that you can see, and then we're going to walk through how the setup works. We're going to give you a process that you can follow in the charts and that you can practice on your demo account so that you can become a profitable trader as well. First things first, what we want to do is make sure we're just on a 92% payout chart, okay? You can go ahead and you can do currencies, you can do cryptocurrencies, commodities, stocks, all right? You can go ahead and scroll through here if you want to get into different those, but what we're going to do for this setup, for the simplicity of this, is we're just going to choose one of these 92 charts. Why you want to use 92 payout? Well, you want to make sure that you're getting the highest return on your trading investment. So what are we going to do first? Well, as you can see here, we just have a naked chart where there's no indicators, and let's go ahead and set this up. All right. So indicator number one is we are going to use the Bollinger bands. All right. So with the setup of the Bollinger bands, what we're going to do is we're going to change this to 20, and then we're going to change the deviation to 2. What we're also going to do is we're going to get rid of the middle. We're going to change the background to white. We're going to lower the opacity so that we can see it, but not really. We're also going to change these to purple and 2 pixel, purple and 2 pixel. And that's what we have for the Bollinger bands all set up. Why did we change it to 20 and 2? Well, the 20 and 2 just gives us a wider range because we're doing short trades, 30-second, 1-minute trades. This setup works great to help us to stay inside or outside of the Bollinger bands. And I'll talk about the setup and how we're going to use this indicator later. Next, what we're going to set up is we are going to set up moving average. And we're going to set up a total of 3 of these moving averages. All right. So the first moving average, we are going to set this to 2. And we are going to set the style to white, 2 pixel. All right. So that's our first moving average. And then for the next moving average, we're going to set this to 5. And we're going to set this to, blue, 2 pixel, all right? And the next is going to be the 100. So we're going to set up a 100, and we're going to set this to red, and we're going to set this to 2 pixel. All right. So what we have just added to the chart is we have the Bollinger bands, and the Bollinger bands is a great way to show us where we are on market trends, right? The moving averages that we're using the simple moving average, which is the SMA. This is the 100. Okay, the red line is the 100. And like I said, the white is the 2 and the blue is the 5. All right. We have one more indicator we're going to set up here, and it is the Stochastic oscillator. When you see the Stochastic oscillator first set up, it's going to set up at 1433. I like to change this to 5. And the reason why I change it to 5 on this chart is that, as you can see, when you have 14, it's a little longer range. But because we are going to go ahead and be using 30-second / 1-minute trades, we want to shrink, or we want to show the K period as moving a little bit faster. We want it to show information faster than if it was on the 14. This is the other big change. Okay, we're going to change this to 85. And then we're also going to change this to 15. Now, why do we do that? So let's go ahead and save this. And I'm going to show you right here why we do that. All right, so why do we set it up as 85 and 15 versus the 80 and 20? Well, what I like to do with this stochastic oscillator is by changing it from 80 to 85, the overbought line and the oversold line are a little bit wider. So when I look at 80, so this would be the 80 line right here, versus 85. The 85 is just 5 more points higher, which gives me a better ability to see the range. So if I'm outside the 85, that means that I am way overbought. And then if I'm below the 15, that means that I'm way oversold. So oversold is at the bottom, overbought is at the top. And by using this set of indicators with this strategy, this has made me, like I said, a very good, comfortable living. And so here we are sharing it, going to break it down so that you can use this strategy first on your demo account. Pocket Option has a demo account. You go ahead and check that out. And then you can use it in real world. But like I said, I have lots of students using this. I have lots of team members that have, switched their setup to this setup. And so if you want to head over to the Telegram group, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can come over and join the team, and then you can see what others are doing with this strategy as well. Okay, now let's implement this and see how we're going to go about using this strategy. All right, let's go ahead and find a chart that's got a little bit above and below so we can get a better idea of what the setup is that we're going to be using with this chart. All right, this is good. This is good. This will give us a good history. Okay, so the setup, how do we use this strategy to our advantage? All right, very simply, what you want to do right out of the gate, okay? Setup number one, right out of the gate, what you want to do is you want to trade with the trend, okay? So we're going to trade with the trend. And what does that mean? Well, we want to find what the trend is, and then we're going to trade with it, not against it. It's always better to go with the herd than trying to figure out against. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at this chart right here, this section, I'm going to turn off auto scroll because I don't want it to move on us. So when you look at this section right here, the red line is the 100 moving average, and we're going to use this line as the above or below. Above, bullish, below, bearish. When it's below the red, we're selling. When it's above the red, we're buying. All right. So you can see right here that this was above the red, up and to the right. This was below the red, down. We crossed over the red, we retouched, and we went back up. So it's very simply put, above the red, buying, below the red, selling, okay? So what you want to do is before you get into a trend, before you understand what the trend is, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for, in this situation right here, we had a cross, and then we had a test. So these are 2-minute candles right here. We cross and then we had a test, and then we continue to the upside. When you see this consolidation, when you see this test come back to the 100 MA, and then you get these bullish green candles, this is a momentum movement to the up. You would have set your 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute trades, and that will take you up and to the right, and that would have been a profitable trade. What are the indicators telling us so that we can go ahead and get into this trade? Well, first and foremost, you look for the retest. That's number one. Number two is we want to look and see where the stochastic oscillator is. Right here shows that we were overbought by the stochastic oscillator. And then over here shows that we were oversold by the stochastic oscillator. It means that it was at the bottom of the stochastic oscillator chart. And then how do we know that we had momentum movement? Well, right here, you can see the stochastic, the blue line splits from the orange. That gives you momentum movement. The split in the blue from the orange, the cross, shows we got some momentum movement. And then we had the 2MA, which is the white, crossed over the blue MA, which is the 5. And then that shows a upward momentum or a shift in movement to which we are on our way up. So we had two indications right here. We had the blue from the orange, we had the white from the blue, so the MA, and then we had this green candle right here with a large wick on the bottom, meaning that the buyers closed it above. And then we had this big momentum candle right here, which gave us an indication of an upward selling momentum. So this was bullish right here. Okay, so that's how you're going to look for that setup. During this setup, a couple of key things you want to look for, and that is by using the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands helps us to see the overbought or oversold. It gives us a good indicator on, are we going to be changing direction? Are we going to have a reversal? And what I mean by that is that when you have candles closing outside of the Bollinger Bands like this candle closed outside the Bollinger Bands. We had this very large green candle here, momentum. Then we had this very small green candle followed by a very small red candle, and those both closed outside of the Bollinger Bands. What does this tell us? This tells us that we are pushing the upper limits of this range, and sellers are starting to step in and bring it down. All right. So when we look at this right here, this would have been a really good opportunity for a 1, 2, 3 minute sell. Why? Well, like I said, first indication is we are way outside of the stochastic oscillator. So we are overbought. We have bought too much. We are at the height. And number 2 would be that we are outside of the Bollinger Bands, closed outside the Bollinger Bands. Number 3 is that we have this red candle here, and then we have a little dip in the momentum. Right here is where we saw the blue cross the orange. So this is an indication of downward momentum. Right here, we had the white cross the blue. This is another indication of downward momentum. This would have been perfect for a sell. This would have sold down 1, 2, 3 minute candles, would have sold you down to here. And then we would have been at the bottom. This is where we would have had a doji candle here. And then we were way oversold in the stochastic oscillator. We had the blue cross the orange, we had the white cross the blue, and then again, the momentum went back up. So that's what you're looking for on this strategy, is that you're looking to buy above the red, sell below the red, okay? And then I just showed you how to look for reversals with this opportunity right here. All right, so as we move along here, this is set up for strategy number 2. So what we're going to be looking for is, again, those momentum. And when you have this strategy here, when you see the candles come back towards the red line, this is coming back towards our moving average. So this is a 100 candle moving average that gives us, we're on an upward momentum. And what we're doing here is this is testing if we are going to continue in the upward momentum, or if we are going to be a reversal and we are going to make our way back down below the red, which you can see happens right here. So in this strategy, you are going to be looking for this setup. When you see the candles touch the red, okay? When you see the candles touch the red, we are just going to watch. Ideally, if this is an upward momentum, like it is here, this is going to bounce off of the 100 MA and continue upward, okay? So we want to not get faked out. We want to make sure that we are going to be watching this for a bounce and continue to the upside. So, excuse me, what are we looking at here? Well, you can see that we had some consolidation. So these candles right here came and got close to the 100. But we were just patiently waiting. This crossed over the 100, but didn't close below the 100, all right? It ended up staying above, all right? We got a split in the stochastic oscillator right here for blue. We got a split here, the white over the blue right here. And then we had some consolidation. So what we're doing is we're just waiting to see if these candles stay above the 100 MA. And if they do, then that means that this consolidation here was near the bottom of its consolidation, and it was going to continue to the upside, which is what we see right here. So what we saw right here, we are not getting faked out by a reversal. What we're doing within this consolidation here is we're watching to see what happens. Split in the stochastics, the 2MA over the 5, we stayed above the red. That is a good buying opportunity. We would have went in for a 1, 2, 3 minute buy, and that would have been a positive trade. Okay. And then if you look at here, again, like I said earlier, way back here about being outside the Bollinger Bands, here we closed almost outside the Bollinger Bands. We had a little bit of consolidation here. The stochastic oscillator was way above the 85. And then now we have the split in the stochastic, the blue. We have a crossover right here, the white and the blue. And this would have been a 1, 2, 3 minute sell for a win. You would have had that as a win right there. All right. So here we are bouncing and testing again. So we did not close underneath. We are just outside of the Bollinger Bands here. And then we had a blue split, went up. The 2 over the 5 went up. Okay, a 1, 2 minute buy. That would have been another good, trade to get into. So what happens when you look at this scenario right here is when you are touching below, touching below, touching. This is a huge consolidation right here. And we would not be getting into any of these trades if we were to look at this type of momentum over the past. This is why when you look back here, what is this chart doing? Well, we had a lot of above, and then we had a lot of below, then we had a lot of above with some touches, and then we get this choppiness here. When you see that, we're just going to move on to the next chart. So we would just go ahead and grab ourselves another chart, another 92 payout chart. All right. Here's a really good chart so that you can see some of the differences in what the indicators are showing. In this opportunity right here, you can see that we dropped below the 100, the white crossed the blue, and we had lots of red candles that were closing below, which indicated a huge downward momentum, massive split between the two moving averages, and then the blue crossed the orange here, which showed a big downward momentum. So we let this ride out, we let this play out. We had a retest here of the 100 MA. And what are we looking at here? Well, the stochastic was at 85. These indicators right here, these candles, what we see here is we see a big greens coming up. Then we see a bunch of small candles with large wicks on top, which then shows an opportunity or an indicator that this is going to start moving downwards. So what do we see here? Well, we see the white cross the blue right here. The blue stochastic oscillator cross the orange. That is a indication of that this is adhering to the structure, and that this would have been a great sell. 1, 2, 3, 4 minute sell. Look at all these candles brought this way down here. So this would have been a great opportunity to get in right here because this was touching the 100 and then went back down. All right. And then, so what do we have here? Well, we had a cross. So I just want to show you when we cross the 100 again, what are we looking for? So here we have a massive momentum. The white stays above the blue. The stochastic oscillator shows that we are way oversold for a long period of time. So it was a big push up. And how would we know that this is not going to do exactly what this did with a fake out? Okay. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for candles that are closing over the 100. So here we have the white with a huge gap between the white, the 2 and the 5 MAs, the white and the blue. Then we had a doji candle here. And then what you're going to think about here is you're going to potentially think that this doji is going to show you a reversal. because we have a candle, a doji, and then another candle, and generally that maybe could be a reversal. But in this instance, it didn't. And why did we not go ahead and get into this sell is because look at the white. The white stayed pointing up with the blue. It stayed away from the blue. These guys didn't even get close to touching. So that showed that it was continual upward momentum. Closed candle, closed candle, closed candle over top of the 100 now gives us an opportunity for a reversal, and where this trend is now going to be moving upwards versus down. And then here what we had is you could see that the white crossed the blue. We had 2 red candles, and then you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a massive push down to the downside, right? But then we look at this stochastic oscillator right here, where the blue crossed over the orange and stayed above. All right. So now that we have this shift in momentum from downward to upwards, we did get some retests right here. So as you look here, we are at the 100 and the stochastic is below the 15. So this is a real good indication of a holding the trend, and it's going to bounce off and head back up, to which we saw right here. White crossed the blue, blue crossed the orange, and this went up 1, 2, 3 minute, would have been a buy, no problem. All right. And then here we stayed above, we kept up to the right. Okay. So, I really hope that this breakdown, I really hope that the time you spent watching all of this for the strategy, the indicators, the how to, the what to, that this gives you a better understanding of how you're going to utilize this strategy to improve your daily trading. This is an incredible indicator. This is an incredible strategy. Work together, use your demo account, take some time to make some trades, work through it so you can get an idea of what you're looking for, okay? And then go ahead and utilize this in your day-to-day. It's a very powerful tool to use. Like I said, come over to the Telegram group, say hi. You can see other people like yourself using this. Okay. If you need anything else, by all means, stop by, say hi, leave a comment below. I'd be happy to hear from you. All right, we'll see you in the next one.